Hey there. So today I wanted to talk about nerdy influences, specifically books. Everyone seems to have a list of stories or a stack of books that shaped how they see sci-fi and fantasy and adventure and magic and character development and world building and social situations. And so these are some of the authors that influenced me. It's not about favorites. This is going to be in alphabetical order. So yeah, let's go get nerdy. We're going to be starting off with Douglas Adams, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and all the other books that lead in that series, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. Seeing the concept of there's always something so much bigger than us that we are bugs to them, and there's something so much bigger out there that we can't fathom what's going on with it, and I think that's fantastic. After that, we've got Isaac Asimov and Foundation, the concept, the clones that lead that empire, the concept of the math that you can figure out how humanity's going to kill itself off. So if you change the numbers by doing, this and sending something off, it's great. After that, we got J.M. Barrie. Peter Pan, the boy who never grew up, and Captain Hook and Tinkerbell and Never Neverland, and great fantasy, especially as a kid. After that, we got Frank Baum. Wizard of Oz. I read probably about half the series because there's, like 13 books or something. I read the first 6 or 7 of them. They are just full of weird randomness, and it's so much fun. And, let's go from our mundane lives and travel to this place of weirdness in the funnest of ways. At least I thought it was fun. Going after that, we've got Orson Scott Card, Ender's Game, and the actual book Ender's Game, I think, is the weakest of those books. I like all the other ones better. Talking about things on such a metaphysical level, and, the concepts that they ran into with that alien race, and the, high-speed communication system that eventually became sentient. It was just fantastic. If you get past the first book, it's amazing that way. Alright, so up next we have Lewis Carroll with Alice in Wonderland. To just take a bunch of normal things, when you see them in the mirror, when you go through the mirror, they act differently. Now, not quite the opposite, but just different and weird, and it was a lot of fun. I love the Jabberwocky and that kind of weird dragon-esque thing. I just enjoyed a lot of it. I mean, so much so that these stories and these properties are probably the things that I've used and stolen the most in my own D&D. After that, we've got Roald Dahl. We've got, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You've got Matilda. You've got the James Bond movie that he wrote that had a chocolate factory in it, or, wrote the screenplay for, and he was just fun and weird, and it was great. After that, we've got Neil Gaiman. Now, Neil Gaiman's on this list for a very specific reason, and it's for Coraline. I like Coraline. It was a good book. Hearing about him talk about how he wrote it, and what he says is that he wrote the first half of it, and then he got stuck for a year. Then one day, him and his kids were walking in the forest behind his house, and they ran into a bee's nest, and he dropped his glasses, and he was able to get the kids to run away, and then he was able to go and without getting stung or anything that way. But the way it correlates to Coraline is that he had to go back and get his glasses the next day. So he was then afraid. Now, he wasn't scared and whimpering of anything like that, but it was just the concept of, I've been in the woods behind my house 100 times. I'm not afraid of that, but man, I don't want to get stung. That there is something there in the back of my hand, making that. And that's the second half of Coraline, and I love that. Next, we're going to talk about Frank Herbert, Dune. The world building, hypothetically, the universe building that he did was fantastic. You take all the different groups of people, and they're kind of based on planets, so you take all the different planets, and it's how are they involved together, how are they tied together, their social situations between the two different groups. It's just fantastic. I also really like how Dune and Foundation are almost the same story. They are so similar. Somebody uses science to attempt to control the path of humanity moving forward, whether it is the science from Foundation or the Bene Gesserit witches from Dune, and then they run into someone that can't be accounted for. And that person throws a whole wrenching in their plans. Then you just kind of rinse and repeat after that. Leto and the Mule are the same thing, but it's just different points of view. I love that. After that, we've got Brian Jakes' Redwall. The handful of books that I read by him, the OPB show that was the little cartoon was on when I was the right age. It's just such a fun little fascinating world there. We've got Kipling and the Jungle Book. Rikki Tikki Tavi was easily one of my favorite stories growing up. I probably base a lot more things on the Jungle Book than I remember, so yeah, absolutely. All right, after that, C.S. Lewis. And yeah, the Chronicles of Narnia were great. I enjoy them. I really liked The Horse and His Boy and The Magician's Nephew, which never seemed to ever get made in any other way, besides, him writing the books. The whole world building aspect of it was just really fun and to explore as a kid. After that, Lovecraft. I like weird, and those elder gods are just weird and fun. I don't know, there's not much to say more about that, they're just fun to me. After that, George R.R. Martin, The Song of Fire and Ice, or Ice and Fire, and Game of Thrones, and the books are fantastic. I read all the ones that are out. I had hoped to read them all at one point, but it does not look like he will ever finish those in a mannerly time. Next, we're gonna go with Chuck Palahniuk. Boy howdy, if you want a story that is crazy, that has twists and turns that are in ways that you probably will never expect, and then if you want some like cleaning advice or making soap tips, all the books are fun in that kind of way. They all have some kind of random advice that will help you with your life. After that, Edgar Allan Poe. And I get that he didn't write novels, I guess, in that regard, but he wrote a lot of poetry, and it is fantastic. If you write such good, scary poems that they name a football team after you, you're doing something right. After that, we've got Anne Rice and all the vampires. A little bit of Mayflower Witches. I did a little bit of that, but it was the vampires. The Lestat, the Queen of the Damned, Tale of the Body Thief, all of those. There was just so many of them that were just fantastic. I really liked all of that. All right, after that, we've got Mary Shelley and Frankenstein, and it's just one of those classic monster books. It's fantastic. I've read it a couple of times, once when I was young, just to, read it because I was supposed to. I reread it as an adult about 10 years ago with the preface that a lot of the things that you see in any movie based around Frankenstein, so much of it is more implied, is that they left it open-ended so that way you're allowed to build more of a monster. They talk about height, they talk a little bit about looks, but not a lot. A lot of those are aesthetics that people thought of, oh, well, of course the monster would have this kind of a thing or that kind of a thing. And yeah, it's really open-ended that way. Same with the next one. The next one is Bram Stoker with Dracula. It's obviously another classic horror tale. It's fantastic. And if you read it nowadays and look at the movie adaptations or the other thing, the comic books and stuff like that based off of it, it's just more open-ended. So watching people get creative with it is fantastic. After that, we've got J.R.R. Tolkien. Lord of the Rings is just fantastic. It really, between that and The Hobbit, it really just sets the bar for what fantasy story arcs can be. I mean, every person has their own little story going on inside of the bigger story. After that, we've got Jules Verne, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Journey to the Center of the World, or Center of the Earth, adventure stories. Just plain adventure stories, and they're fun. After that, we've got H.G. Wells with Time Machine and War of the Worlds. I look at Verne and Wells as very similar, like to explore, and they would just explore and write stories about it, and it's fun. After that, we've got Roger Zelazny. He did the Chronicles of Amber. It's 10 books, 10 short books. First 5 are one person's story, the second 5 are the next person's story. The world that they create with the patterns, and if you follow the pattern, you make the extra layers after. It was fantastic. Just go and read it. I can't explain it. After that, there is Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. Obviously Dragonlance, but more specifically Deathgates. Deathgate cycle probably changed the way that I think about sci-fi and fantasy as a whole. The books are fantastic. The way they tie together are fantastic. They built and created this world just on another level. It's fantastic. If you haven't read the Deathgate cycle, go and read it now, or go buy the audiobook and have somebody read it to you, because it's delightful to do that too. I also read a ton of the Star Wars Extended Universe books before they became the Legends books. A lot of Timothy Zahn, a lot of James Lacerno, Kevin Anderson, and Rebecca Mesta as well. Heir to the Empire, Yuzan Vong, Jason eventually turning evil. The whole thing is fantastic. I enjoyed so much of it. All right, so here are some lesser known or newer authors that I think fit in here that have, influenced me as well. Pierce Brown. He did Red Rising. It's a fantastic series of books about space, and it is like Hunger Games and Game of Thrones and Dune all just mixed into one. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. We've got Ernest Cline. He did Ready Player One on, Ready Player Two and Armada. I just love nostalgia sometimes. It's fun to listen. It's fun to read about someone solving puzzles built around the nostalgia of my life. I like that. We've got Susan Collins, the Hunger Games series. They are a fantastic set of books, but in D&D, you have to be able to kill fictitious characters. You should not be afraid of that. And that's something that she does without remorse, and I find that the best. After that, we've got Eric Garcia. He did Anonymous Rex. He also did Matchstick Men, but I really like Anonymous Rex. The concept is dinosaurs are still among humans. They just wear costumes. This one is about a detective that's trying to solve stuff, and it's great. It's cheesy and amazing. We've got Sarah Moss with Throne of Glass. So this is really the first one that fits for an odd reason. I read about 4 of them. I did not enjoy myself as much as I would have liked. The stories are obviously well written. She's selling millions of books, so they're not bad. I'm not saying anything that way. She hit all the cliches, all the tropes, everything that you thought was going to happen just does happen. Now, I like that in D&D. Everyone wants a story mark to hit for them. Everyone wants that long form stuff. We want the Lord of the Rings. We want those tropes. We want those. And so even though I'm not the biggest fan of the series, I absolutely love the way that she does that and that people like it the way they do. So it still influenced me in that regard. So I like it. So she's on the list. After that, we've got Jay Milligan. They wrote Jack Fish. A couple years ago, I saw a picture of just the weirdest thing I've ever read. And it was so weird that I bought the book and read the book. And it's great. It's about a guy from Atlantis. He's a detective, and it's his first time on land. And it's kind of like Splash, with him trying to figure the life out, and it's fantastic. After that, we've got Jack Vance. But Dying Earth is fantastic, and I love that is what Vecna from D&D is based off of, and I love the concept of this is just stories that happen. It's going to sound strange. They feel like D&D stories or D&D backstory. So those are the ones that I have that influenced me. I absolutely know that I need to read a bunch more. I know I need to do stuff like Earthsea and Wheel of Time. The internet's Hank Green has a couple of sci-fi books out. Leave comments about books that I should read, and I'll try to get around to them. I absolutely love to, but yeah, life. So those are my books. I hope you like them, and if you haven't read them, read them.